Hello everyone, Giltar here with part 3 of my review of the non-scale AV-98 Ingram 1 model kit from Kotobukiya's D-Style or Deformation Style model kit line. Now, in part 1 I went over the model kit details and our accessories. In part 2 I went over the different parts of the model kit, the assembly process, and articulation. And then here in part 3 I'll be going over the pros and cons I have for this kit and my final thoughts. So as usual, I'll start off with my cons, and I really only have two, and they're relatively minor. They're not that serious given the grand scheme of things and the overall presentation of this model kit product. The first con I have to state is basically the pre-colored or pre-painted aspect of the model. I'm not a big fan of that gimmick. I see it as a gimmick because the thing is that it's only partially painted for you. In my mind, you either go all the way or you don't go at all with respect to the whole painting thing. Because if it's pre-painted, why not go all the way, make it accurate, charge a few hundred-yen extra if need be, but at least that way you get a sort of complete product when you assemble the model. If you go only sort of pre-painted but only partially, the owner still has to do more work, and more often than not, people will just say, well, I don't want to paint and try to have to match colors. Why don't I just paint it all over again? And at that point, you're sort of like, well, why did I bother getting a pre-painted model kit in the first place? I'm going to paint the whole thing anyways. So the whole partially pre-painted aspect, it just doesn't go with me. It doesn't fly. The second con I have is that unfortunately, the model kit does have some looseness issues with joints. Specifically, the hip joints are a problem, and the shoulder armor pieces, they can slide off pretty easily. And that is an issue that I have. It's just that they're not that secure. But on the other hand, there are numerous ways to tighten up those parts. Not a big deal, but I did want to note it for people out there who just basically aren't into doing a little extra work on their model kits. Be aware of that. If you do plan to buy this model kit, you may have to do a little extra work to sort of tighten things up, make it a little more secure. But even on a basic straight up build, it's not terrible, but again, I just need to throw that out for you guys, let you guys know about potential looseness of certain joints and parts. So those are the cons. The pros, first of all, and I want to put this at the top of my list, and it seems odd to put it at the top of my list, but I think the D-Style Ingram 1 has fantastic presentation. The way that Kotobukiya laid out the runners really just impresses me because in my experience with, limited experience, granted, with SD model kits from Bandai, the whole short sprue layout that they have for their kits really just, I don't see why they do it. It can't save that much money, and I imagine it's just, I don't know, I guess it's a cost-saving method, but I'm just really happy that Kotobukiya has just used a normal layout for the runners, that the parts have normal sort of little extra length of plastic for people to work with to avoid damaging anything. So I really appreciate that, and that's on top of my list. I just think it has a really good presentation for this model kit. And the reason why I have to really put that at the top of my list, another reason rather, is that Kotobukiya traditionally, in my experience with Super Robot Wars, Armored Core, Border Break, and the Mode Lock model kits I have experience with, they're not the greatest layouts for the way that they have the runners designed. So in this case, it looks like whoever was in charge of the D-Style Ingram design here, I just have to commend them. I think they did a great job on that. Now that being said, another pro I have is that it's just a really great range of articulation. I mean, it's for an SD model kit, you have pretty much a really full range of articulation for pretty good posability from the model kit. Now, it's not fantastic when you compare it to high-grade models, for example, or master-grade models, especially. But I mean, the fact is, you have an SD-styled model kit that can bend its elbows, rotate its shoulders, do like a standing kick, rotate at the waist, bend all around with the neck as well, and you just have multiple points of articulation with really good ranges of articulation when you consider the sort of chubby, bulky proportions of an SD design. I mean, that's just the way I see it. It has surprisingly good articulation, and that must be noted for this. And it has nice accessories too. I mean, it's not that really much of a pro, but I mean, at least we get these, as far as I understand, everything that the Ingram would have: a stun stick and a revolver. Kotobukiya didn't skimp out on these parts. I'm glad about that. And that's my pros and cons list. But I do want to sort of go aside for a moment and comment on the general sort of opinion of a lot of people who have commented about the D-Style kit, not only here on YouTube, but at various forums and other places, that the 1,500 yen price tag is kind of high for it. But you know what? This is not an SD model kit. And SD model kits can range from several hundred yen to I think 4,000 yen. Of the really large Shinryube, I forget what it's called, but it's a larger SD model kit. But the point being is that SD models are generally cheaper, but the reason is they're generally less, with a lower level of engineering design in them. They look great, but you have to do a lot of work, and they don't have the greatest range of articulation. For the Kotobukiya D-Style Ingram 1 model kit, the 1,500 yen price point is actually spot on in my opinion. Maybe I don't like it, but the fact of the matter is there are pre-painted parts that cost some money. And with the design behind it of points of articulation and whatnot, that also, in my mind, warrants the extra price too. In fact, I think 1,500 yen is either spot on or maybe even slightly lower than it needs to be for this model kit. I really do think it's worth the money. Considering that this is the only SD styled Ingram that I'm aware of, at least as far as model kits go, and it may be the only one that we'll get for some time. So the whole idea of there's only one type of this product warrants a few extra dollars. And honestly, I think if people can get beyond the sort of at a glance perception of this being a Bandai SD kit, where it's actually an SD styled kit with better sort of design and engineering, I'm pretty sure that most people will be able to see that the 1,500 price tag is not unwarranted, that it's not unreasonable. And yeah, people will say, well, I can get a high grade model kit for this much. Well, true, but can you get, again, what's the availability of an SD styled Ingram? That's the thing, is that ultimately there's only one of these right now. So yeah, if you want it, pay a few extra dollars and I'm sure you'll be happy about it. So my final thoughts on this model kit. Overall, I definitely recommend it. I'm really, really pleased with what I've gotten. This is the one case of a Kotobukiya product, to my knowledge, where it actually is superior to a Bandai equivalent in terms of their Gunpla products. If I compare this to a Bandai product, then I have to say it would be comparable or equivalent to the SD lineup. And this is something that surpasses any SD model kit I've had personal experience with, which are only a few, but also the ones I've seen reviewed through videos and through pictorial reviews as well. This just is better than them on all fronts as far as I'm concerned. So I definitely recommend this. If anybody out there is a Pat Labor fan and you like SD style, or at least you want to see the Ingram in an SD styled product, put out the money, a few extra dollars, $16 or so American at full price, but a lot of places are selling this at a discount. Pick it up. If you're an SD fan, I encourage you, pick up this model kit to experience something that's a little different from a different company and see what else is possible in this kind of aesthetic for mecha designs. So yeah, I definitely recommend this model kit. I'm really enthusiastic about receiving my D-Style White Glint. I've pre-ordered the D-Style Griffin, and I'm just hoping that Kotobukiya expands and grows and cultivates this D-Style lineup that they're producing right now. I'd love to see many more D-Styled model kits out there from the various franchises that Kotobukiya has licensed to produce products for. So that's my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it and got something out of it. As usual, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time at another video.